You ordered steak. But did you actually get beef? Or a steak-shaped product engineered for speed?
So this is actually silver skin. So this is a sinew that sits in between muscles. No matter how much you chew it, no matter how much you cook it, it will never ever break down.
First thing to take notice of is the coloring.
If anything looks pale, it's probably going to be lacking in flavor and lacking in nutrients.
Today we're pulling back the heat lamp on how big chains turn pre-cooked. Vacuum-sealed cuts into steak that chews like lunch meat and leaks gray juices. Stay with me. We'll show you the red flags at places like Applebee's, Denny's, and more. Uniform shape, spongy texture, heavy marinades, and that suspicious fast finish from microwave to flat top.
You see something in the middle of these steaks that looks completely different than the meat around it. Your eye will never lie. If something looks off, it's probably not going to taste great.
If you care about flavor, health, and value, you need to know what's on your plate before you take another bite. You slice in, and the plate floods with gray runoff. Not blood, not juice. It's water and myoglobin pushed out of meat that was stored, brined, or tumbled to hold moisture. Fresh beef sizzles and rests. This stuff leaks like deli ham. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
First thing that caught my eyes is the grill marks, and of course the sad gray color that comes between them.
Ended up weighing the steak as a joke and found out it was 3.4 ounces. This is absolutely ridiculous.
This is a terrible way to sear a steak. And on top of that, look how thin the steak is.
Let's start with the split. On one side, real steaks. A cook trims a whole primal, cuts to order, salts, and hits high heat. On the other, chain-ready portions. Pre-marinated, vacuum-sealed, shaped to cook fast and taste the same in every zip code. One is craft, the other is control. Menus shout hand-cut sirloin, but the back line pulls a sealed pouch, tears it open, and aims for speed. Your knife hears one story, your teeth hear another. Here's the pipeline, factory slicing to lock in size, enzyme tenderizers and mechanical needles to break fibers.
It's this tool right here. It is a tenderizer. So what is happening is the butcher is expelling needles into the cut to make it more tender. If you look closely, you can see little puncture wounds all over the eye of the pork chop.
Yeah, there's little holes, right?
Yep.
They're everywhere.
Exactly. And if you think about puncturing holes all in it, you're releasing more of those juices and the meat's gonna spoil faster.
Heavy salt and acid mixes, often with liquid smoke, to force flavor in. Then vacuum sealing so the piece holds shape, traps water, and survives transport and a heat lamp. Those enzymes and needles don't just soften. They rearrange. Fibers that should run one way get scored and glued into submission so the bite turns spongy and the edges look too neat. It chews the same from tip to tail. That's not steak. That's a product. Now the cook line. A true Maillard crust needs dry surface and brutal heat. You get crackle, deep browning, and a gradient inside. The shortcut route is a flat top or clamshell, sometimes after a microwave nudge. You get weak browning, a gray center, and a wet hiss instead of a sear. Pre-brined or injected meat holds bound water. Heat drives that water and myoglobin out fast. It doesn't rest. It weeps, steaming the crust flat. You can smell the marinade more than the beef. You've seen the signs.
The steak has arrived, everybody. I gotta say a few things about this steak. My medium well steak came to me burnt on the outside. I don't like how thin the steak is. It's very, very thin. It was cooked perfectly, but the burnt on the outside made it impossible to taste the meat. I cannot finish my steak because all of the char.
Applebee's lunch meat chew, Denny's thin gray steaks, Chili's loud outside and bland middle. 3 quick tells at the table. Perfect oval shapes, butter-soft uniform texture end-to-end, and a sweet sauce doing all the talking. Now let's move on to the chains and the small cues that let you call it before your first bite. If 2 steaks cost the same, why does one fight back like beef and the other fold like a wet sponge? The truth is, one is steak. The other is a steak-shaped shortcut. Let's start with the mission. You're going to spot the processing tells at Applebee's, Denny's, Chili's, IHOP, and Golden Corral so you keep your cash and your chew. Each one sells big flavor.
Most importantly, let's see if it's medium rare right now. All right, time of the truth. Medium rare. Steak is slightly tough. But as you can see from my picture, the steak was burned. Not only could you taste a burned piece of steak, but the seasoning was terrible. So I will call that a medium, everybody. And it happens because the steak is thin. It's a little bit too thin.
But the back line often leans on pre-marination, flash sears, and steam or oven finishes that sand down texture into the same soft bite. Applebee's first. Former staff describes sirloins that arrive pre-cooked or vacuum-packed, then get a quick finish on a flat top or worse during a rush. Your tells: a spongy bite, lunch meat chew, and gray runoff on the plate. If you won't skip it, ask for a thicker cut, medium rare, and watch the clock. A slower ticket is your best chance at a real cook, not a reheat. Denny's runs at breakfast speed, which rewards thin, fast steaks or pre-cooked packs. Red flags: uniform thinness, pale edges, and a chew that reads sausage more than steak. Safer pivot, eggs, bacon, and hash. And avoid ordering steak during quiet training hours when shortcuts stand out. Chili's favors pre-portioned cuts soaked in heavy marinades. The outside is loud, the center stays bland. If it lands drenched in sauce and hits temp too fast, you have your answer. If you must, ask for minimal sauce and a hard sear to chase a real crust. IHOP sirloins come vacuum-sealed and sized for a skillet, built for speed. Texture swings from chewy rim to soggy middle, especially when a clamshell or microwave joins the party. Better move. Skip the steak combo and stack pancakes with sides. Golden Corral runs buffets under heat lamps, so softness is the goal. Expect bulk tenderizing and marinade. Watch for no visible grain, cookie-cutter shapes, and a soft carve with zero fight. If you're there, pick carved roasts with clear grain instead of steak. Quick field guide. Look for real grain and varied chew, a dry hot sear with deep browning, and resting juices that are clear pink, not murky gray. So what is the takeaway when you want real beef on a budget without paying for a prop? Real steak fights back a little, shows grain, and builds a crust that tastes like fire. Processed steak goes soft end to end, leans on sauce, and leaves gray runoff. That's the split you need to spot. If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who orders steak on autopilot. Then ask your server how it's cut and finished before you pay steak prices. You might want to keep your money for the real thing. Next time, we'll test two steaks side by side on camera, fresh cut versus pre-marinated, so you can spot the difference in 10 seconds.